Hello guys, I'm Fide instructor Atul Dahale and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you a very important concept in the pawn endgames, that is the opposition. Yes, this is our endgame topic and I'll be very happy to show you all the important things related to the opposition. So what is really the opposition, why I'm talking about it, and what are the types of opposition and why we should be learning about the opposition. Well, there are many important things which we need to learn about the opposition, but first things first, what is really the opposition? Well, in the simplest language or in the layman's language, if I want to tell you, then I will tell you that opposition is all about the dominance of one king over the opponent's king. Okay, now in chess terms, if you ask me that, then I will tell you that if you look at this position which is there on the board, okay, these two kings are in front of each other, so both the kings are stopping the opponent's king in some way. Okay, here you can see that white's king is standing on this square, black is standing here, they are separated by one square, right? So whoever has the move in this position needs to move away from the opponent's king. And if let's suppose I was on the move and I played king somewhere like d4 here, then it means that white king is showing that it is dominating on these three squares. Okay, means he has the main control over there. So if you want to make some progress in the position, it means that you need to take the opposition. Okay, so here white has taken the opposition. So as I said, like whoever is having the move in this position will be forced to go away from the opponent's king, means he needs to go away from the main action. Okay, that is the main thing. So this is a theoretical thing which I want to tell you. And about the opposition, there are exactly three types of opposition and it depends upon how many squares are there between the two kings. So here when the distance between the kings is just one square, then we call it the direct opposition. There are different types of opposition which I will be telling you, but the basic thing is like this is the direct opposition. Then it comes, next one is the distant opposition, where three squares are there between the two kings, that is the distant opposition. And the third important thing is when there are five squares between the kings, that is the long distant opposition. So you must have understood this thing that 1, 3 and 5 squares are there. It means that the odd number of squares are there between the two kings. That's when we call them that it is the opposition. Okay, so here just to let you if I come back to the position, here in this position the opposition can be in different way. It can be horizontal, it is vertical in this position, both kings are standing in front of each other in the vertical way. It can be horizontal or it can be what do you call, diagonal also. Here is the one sneak position, you can say one position which shows everything that all types of opposition are there. So you can see that white and black are standing in front of each other horizontally, vertically and also diagonally. So why we should be studying the opposition? The main thing is that when we want to achieve something in the pawn endgame, right? So in that position we need to restrict our opponent's king in some way. So for one example, I would like to show you that why it is so important. I hope that you understood that if the kings are standing in front of each other in any way, like they might be here vertically, they might be here in horizontally or diagonally, the squares between them, if it's like this, then you call it as the opposition. Means what is opposition in simple language is like, again I would like to tell you that one king is standing and next to him the other king is standing, that is the opposition. Correct, they're standing in front of each other and they will be blocking. It's like you are standing in a door and you will not allow the other people to come inside the room or something like that, you will always stop him. Okay, so that is the advantage of taking the opposition. What do you mean by taking the opposition? It means that you are coming in front of your opponent's king, that is the taking the opposition. Okay, and okay, just so that you will understand it more, I would like to show you the next position, that is this position. Well, in this position you can see that white is pawn up in this case, correct? And in this case if you want to draw the game from the black side, okay, I'll take the position and I will just show you from the black side. If in this position black wants to draw the game, then he needs to follow certain principles in this position. that he needs to take the opposition whenever opponent's king comes next to the pawn. Okay, until that moment what he needs to do is like just go in front of the pawn and stay there in just 2 squares. Okay, so if black is there, what he will do first, he'll just go straight back to straight back in front of the pawn. If our opponent's king, like in this position we are thinking from the black side, if white's king anytime comes next to the pawn here to the adjacent square, then what we will be doing, we will be taking the opposition. Why we will be taking the opposition? We will be looking at this thing maybe in future, so wait for a while. What happens if you don't take the opposition, we will be looking at that thing. Don't worry about it. Okay, so king e6, we take the opposition. If he pushes the pawn, then go in front of the pawn. If he plays this move, again go just straight in front of the pawn. If your opponent is waiting behind the pawn, then be there on this one of the 2 squares. Okay, if he again plays this, then just be there on one of the 2 squares in front of the pawn. Whenever he tries to come in front of the pawn, just block it by taking the opposition, by coming in front of him. So you are not allowing him to come on any of these squares. Okay, so you might ask me like what is really happening even if he comes. We'll be looking at this thing, but if you follow this certain technique, then you will be sure that you can draw the game very easily. Okay, king d8, then king e6, then king e8 will be played, then d7. The pawn is coming on the 7th rank with the check. That's why it is going to be a draw, because white needs to support the pawn and he cannot really leave the pawn. If he leaves the pawn, obviously the pawn will be falling, and if he supports the pawn like king d6, then the game will be drawn because of the stalemate. Okay, this is the drawing technique which we learned. Okay, what happens if we don't take the opposition? We are going to see it, because we need to look at that thing also. So here after king d6, if he comes forward, if I don't take the opposition and if I play something like king c6, okay, the opponent's king will come forward. Okay, now you might play this move, then white will be the one who will take the opposition. So whenever you take the opposition and if there is no obstruction between the way, then your opponent's king needs to move from one side to the other side. So I'll flip the board once again and I will show you that here, if means in this position black is on the move, so he needs to go to the left or right side of the board, right? So here these kings are in front of each other, so it is the opposition. So he needs to go to the left side. Maybe he might go there or he might go to the e7 square. Okay, so wherever your opponent's king goes, you need to take the opposite side. So you'll play king c6 in this position, and now if he tries to come in front of your king, then again take the opposition. If he plays this move, then go to the other side. And this is the simplest technique I can show you, and you can just keep on pushing the pawn, and after queening the pawn you should be winning that position. So guys, this is very briefly I showed you like what is the advantage of the opposition, what happens, but the main thing about this thing is like it's going to be there in the next video which I'll be making, which will be related to the key squares, guys. So guys, stay tuned for that video, and I hope that you learned a little bit about the opposition, what is there in this position. So there are many things which are related to the opposition, and we'll be learning all those things in step-by-step videos. So stay tuned for it. This is the first part of the opposition. Okay, see you and goodbye.